Perfect. All right. So your question before was about how to figure out when Roman numerals are like important in the name of a compound, or?
Well, I know it's important. I just don't. He had it written out,
So we could do like
he didn't give us just the formula. He actually wrote out, full like copper, and then he wanted us to match the formula with the description.
Okay.
The actual name.
So let's just look at this right here. This compound. How would we name this compound?
The copper phosphate.
Right. We would have to have a Roman numeral after copper though, right?
Right.
So we'll do copper phosphate. And whenever we're naming a compound or converting the name to the molecular formula, I like to first of all look for the polyatomic ions. So it's great that you already figured out that this was phosphate. Mm-hmm. And so I just go ahead and I put that in brackets so I can remember to treat that whole thing as one entity.
Okay.
And after I look for the polyatomic ions, then the next thing I would do is label any charges that are known to us.
All right.
And so we know copper is a transition metal, and so it doesn't really, exactly, so it can change. So we don't have a set value for copper, but do we have a set value for phosphate?
Yeah, it's 4 negative.
It's minus 2.
Minus 2. Oh,
right.
Minus 2.
So it's a negative 2 on that charge for the phosphate. And so for this whole thing to be neutral, what would the charge of the copper need to be if this is a negative 2?
It has to be 2, positive 2.
Right, it'd have to be a plus 2. And so when we're naming it copper phosphate, we would put in parentheses the Roman numeral 2. And so it'd be copper 2 phosphate.
So like in the formula you have written above, it would just, the correct answer would just be CuPO4.
Right.
Okay, so you wouldn't put a 2 or...
But you're talking about right here?
Right here, yeah.
Exactly. That's, so let's do this for example. And so we have a subscript on this. What's this polyatomic ion?
That's nitrate.
Perfect. So, and this is magnesium. So magnesium's not a transition metal, is it?
It's a alkaline earth metal.
Right. So we won't have to put parentheses here for the Roman numerals.
Yeah.
The reason that this has a subscript is because we know the charge for this. Does that make sense? So this is a set charge. Magnesium's charge is what?
Positive 2.
Right. So plus 2, and nitrate is
Negative
1. And that's why there's 2 nitrates to cancel out that positive 2. Okay. And so the reason we don't put a 2 here is because copper can range anywhere from +1 to like +4 or whatever it may be. Okay. And so that's why we don't put that there, because it's not a set charge.
Okay.
And so, yeah.
Right,
Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think that's what confused me on the test, was like, oh, you have to put a number there. You have to...
That's a great thing to point out. And so you only switch the charges if the charges are set and known for that particular element. Okay. Otherwise, you just want to double check. So you're like, okay, this is transition metal. It could range anywhere from this to this. And so then you can look at the partner to this transition metal, and then you can know for sure what charge it ends up being. So did that answer your question?
That made it's much clearer. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So did you want to try some more practice with that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Let's do... And that's an H.
copper.
Okay, and then we'll do this.
That's a 4, right?
Right, this is a
Okay.
4. So yeah, the Roman numerals, a V is a 5.
5.
And if you put anything before that, it's subtracting.
Lower. Okay.
Mhm. Cool, so iron. So work on this one, and then I will write up another one up here.
So what are the purposes of these videos? Like, they put these online or?
Mhm. Yeah, so it just helps everybody out.
Okay.
And so for this one, yeah, these are together. So cool. So for this one, we'll be putting it in the molecular formula, and then this one to the name.
Okay. Okay, so the top one would be Fe for iron would be Fe, and then in parentheses would be PO 3 close parenthesis 2.
Perfect. And if we walk through that, that's because we know that phosphite is PO3 and it has a -2 charge. And if it's iron 4, then we'd need to have 2 of these guys to cancel out that. Perfect. Way to go.
All right.
And then for this one,
It's copper nitrate. Is that what it is?
nitrite.
Nitrite. Okay.
Mhm.
I haven't done it yet. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Take your time. How's Alex going?
It's going all right.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
not as bad as it used to be. I mean, I know how much time I need to give myself.
Yeah.
I can do it actually in a fast
Pretty
time.
quick now. That's good.
I have copper. Would be copper 2, Roman numeral 2.
So we know that this is a polyatomic ion right here,
Mhm.
right? And so, nitrite. And what is the charge on this guy?
Isn't it -2?
I think it's -1. It's the same thing as nitrate.
Oh,
So
okay.
nitrate has,
Right.
so this is, nitrate is NO3 minus, and nitrite NO2 minus.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So it would just wouldn't be a Roman numeral then.
Right, we could just do copper, nitrite. You could do the 1. It's safer than, be safe than sorry, you know?
Sure. Okay.
So I just always put the 1. But yeah, because nitrite has -1 charge, the copper will just be +1.
Okay.
So good job, man.
Thanks.